Boom! Hi guys, welcome to RES Exam Study Paper 2, Part 1. Okay guys, let me see which folder I will use. Alright guys, okay, let's go. Okay, for Paper 2, Part 1, today we'll be going through the whole topic. Guys, some parts of it will be giving us the information. I will only give you which topic to study. I will not read out every single slide. So at some point when I ask you to study yourself, please do remember to study yourself. Okay, my name is Royce. I'm the founder of Realtor Highs, and this slides is done on the first quarter of 2022. Some of the informations are quite old, so I will change according to the way. Okay guys, what is CA? Okay, CA is actually a Council of Real Estate Agent. It's a government sector that actually regulates the real estate industry. So the mission is to raise professionalism in the real estate industry and safeguard the consumer interest. So they only have three board of strategy in this sense. So just guys to take note that the three board is 1, 2, 3 to regulate and to regulate and to foster a well-disciplined real estate industry, to collaborate and spearhead the professional development, and to educate consumers that they are better informed. So it's to protect as the mission. So these are the responsibilities of CEA. Do read out yourself. So CEA actually consists of 1 president and 5 to 15 members. So what's an EA? Anyone knows what's an EA? Okay, EA is estate agents. Estate agents are actually the agencies, such as example Protnex, ERA, or Huttons. These are the estate agents. Do take note of that. So they need to be licensed. So if they are not licensed, they are not allowed to carry out, advertise, or the job anything related to real estate. They cannot be acting like a real estate agents. Okay, they also cannot be hiring anyone to do the job because they're acting as an agency. So the fine is not more than 75,000, 3 years, and above. So for this part, the further fine, which means that after being caught every single day that they are still performing this act, they will be charged 7,500 per day, not more than 7,500 per day. So for a salesperson, which is what we all are asking, this is actually the RES, real estate salesperson, which are the agents acting for the sellers or buyer. So if you're unlicensed and not employed by any estate agency or estate agent EA, you will be fined 25,000 or 12 months imprisonment or up to both. Okay, so for the EA license, firstly you need to have a 3-year experience with 30 transactions in the last 3 years. Okay, so you need to be 21 years old. You have passed your KEO exam within the last 2 years. You're not a EA or RES or other agencies. Most important, you are also not related to a money lender license. Not related. You are not working for them, partner, director, or any way related. And lastly, you must be fit and proper regulated. So for a EA license, there will be a prescripted security that require a bank guarantee not exceeding more than 75,000 for a renewal or new license. All this is only for EA license. Do take note. So for the RES license, okay, RES license, you need to be 21. You need to have pass your RES exam within the last 2 years. You need to be employed by one of the licensed EA, and of course no relationships to money lender license, fit, proper, meet the CBT requirements. CBT requirements are required for both EA and CPD for RES. Okay, so to be an RES, you must have a minimum of 4 O-level passes. So during the CPT requirement to renew the license, it must be done annually. That all KEO and RES must do it with a 6 credit per annum. 4 credits will be on the professional side and 2 credits will be generic credits. So this must be done annually to raise the professionalism and capability, ensure their knowledge is up to date, build a culture and encourage best practice, strengthen public confidence and consumer protection, and make sure that the KEO ensures that all their RES and all the people in their team are actually even improve lah and keep updated always. So CPD training route, which means that if you're a new RES, you just pass the exam, right? Like this year you're going to pass. Once join the CEA any agency, you do not need to, you will be examined for the first year. So you don't need to do any CPD for the first year. However, from the second year onwards, you're required to do 6 credit a year. So if you have stopped less than 48 months, so you resign from any EA or and did not practice or did not within 2 years, you are still able to continue this industry as long as within 48 months 24 months, 2 years, 24 months. For 1 year you stop working, you need to hit 6 credits. For 2 years you need to hit 12 credits based on the 4-2 criteria. So do take note that within less than 2 years you are able to come back to the industry without retaking the whole exam. So if you have left more than 24 months, so in more than 2 years, okay guys, you have to retake your whole exam and course again, which is going to be a very long process. So remember to keep your license on active. So only at some circumstances that CEA will actually refund you your license, the payment, if you didn't satisfy the CPD requirement or you did not pay the penalty by CEA. So remember, if you are actually required to pay up. If not, your license are not allowed to renew or apply. So any applications or registrations are not transferable. So you cannot transfer to the next person or whatsoever. If you try to fraud it, it will be a 50k fine, 3 years, and both. Okay, the duration for the application for registration or license is actually 3 years. So guys, you are understanding what it means by license and registration. License are for EA license. Registration are for RES, for those who doesn't know. So all of RES have a registration number. All the EAs has a license number. So guys, next, public registry. So this public register is actually in the CEA website. It's actually to regulate and to keep the consumers aware that whether their agents are licensed or not. So as of now, using this public register, you're able to see our picture, our name, agency you're working at, when was the license, or any other further actions taken against us. So you do remember that public register is actually where you can search the information for the EA, the acting director, or the RES. Okay, these have been tested once. So any change of address, or any change of resignation, guys, you remember, take note that you need to inform CA in 14 days. So you need to inform CA and your EA if you're changing of any address. So KEO responsibility. KEO, Chief Executive Officer, which is also known as REA, Real Estate Agency licensed personnel. So all company must have one KEO to regulate the company to handle all the RES and estate agency. So KEO is required to do proper administration, overall management, and supervise all RES. Of course, they cannot be acting for other EA if they are acting for cannot act more than one EA. I'll give it easier. Not related to any license, lender license, or anyone personal related. You must also possess the qualification. You pass your KEO exam in the last 2 years, complete the course, pass the exam in 2 years. You also have 3 years experience and 30 transactions for the last 3 years. So you must be contactable by CA at all times because you're acting for the company. So all EA must have one KEO. If the KEO is vacant through death or resignation, the EA must inform CA that in 7 days, and then they must replace the KEO within 4 weeks. So for any RES resign, you also have RES yourself, you are responsible to inform CA within the next 31 days, and EA will inform the CA also in the next 7 days. So for the reports and documentation for all agreements, lease, conflict of interest, commission fees, acting, whatever forms that have been signed by the agent, tenant, landlord, or anything related to real estate that you commit, or even is not completed, do take note that it will be 5 years. 5 years you need to keep all reports, all reports, all documents, I would say, instead of reports. So you guys remember, take note that this is 5 years. A lot of people keep forgetting information. In the past was 7 years, and recently it was updated to 5 years. Unless there's any updates, I will update you guys along the new videos. So next, money laundering and financing terrorism. This is very important. So during your work of agent agency, if you can suspect any money laundering, terrorism, financing, or any doubts on the information or data they're given, please do your CDD. CDD, customer due diligence measures, should be done also in the company. So make sure that the client is actually a real true client, not a scam or whatever. So do know all the information will be kept by the agency until the end of transaction. So if any suspicion, the information will be staying with the company for very long. So keep a record, see all the agency, everything will be kept inside to safeguard not only the buyer, seller, the client, and also yourself as an agent. Okay, so under suspicious transaction, if you doubt any suspicious transaction, take note that it is under the corruption, drug trafficking, and other serious offences, Confiscation of Benefits Act. These have been tested and is subject to disciplinary. Next, appointment of inspector. For this part, yes, all inspectors are to investigate on cases such as even complaints, frauds, any breach of any act or regulation. There will be an inspector assigned by CA to investigate. So the investigator will have an identification card. Then they will be able to enter, inspect any premises in a reasonable time, to make any copy, take any possession, summon anyone to able to take statement, and they are able to do whatever it takes to do the investigation. So there's no stopping for them because they are also a public servant. So do take note that everything will be collected by him and investigation will be done, and the result will be done, recommended by the inspector. So this investigation and process will be confidential. So there will not be any disclosure unless for others for criminal or civil proceeding. Do take note, this has been tested that whether the inspectors are able to enter the premises to do what. So do take note. So guys, those who are still with me, though if you need, please pause the video and listen to what I need to say. I will help you guys as much as I can along the way. If you need any other assistance, you can actually comment at below, or go to my Facebook page, contact me, or even my Facebook and IG. You can just find Roy Chen, my name over there. You'll be able to find me easily. Okay guys, carry on. Disciplinary panel and committee is actually assigned by CA. They are actually the one who takes action to conduct any disciplinary action, investigation power, and acts against someone. So they must say at least 3 members, not more than 20, 3 to 20. They are a public servant. They are not bounded by civil proceedings. So they can actually take evidence, they can summon anyone, they can do anything necessary to do things right, and they are not open to public. So under the committee, they actually, every breach, they will assess the seriousness of it, like on how the degree of harm is done and what causes it, and the accountability of the RES or EA to prevent this harm to the client. So also considering any aggregating or mitigating factors such as other things. So when a complaint comes in, if it's anything related to the service, it will be referred to the EA. This service wise is all under EA will take actions against their own investigation and their own agents. So anything that breaches the act, the law, the regulations, to take note that investigation will be done. If there's first no breach, there will be no further action. If second, a minor breach, which you guys have actually read it online on news, so there will be a fine up to 5,000 LOW or LOC. These two, LOC is been introduced in 2021, which is only 1 year old. However, because LOC give them the empowerment to fine the agent $5,000 of small amount of monetary fine. So this is still under the DC. So anything that goes above the CA thinks that serious investigation, if there's serious breach, DC will take action. DC committee will be formed. They will take action against it. There will be investigation done. So it will be either suspension, revocation, or financial penalty. So it's fine. So 4, any offences that done under the EAA Act, guys, you need to be prosecuted or composition. So there will be a fine and imprisonment. So do take note that all this is done privately, but some of the information will be announced in the news lah, if you guys know about it. So guys, I think some of you have seen this chart that whether are they good or not. Okay guys, I will read this first. Okay. So what are not under the CA purview? Take note, services are not under the CA purview. So you can pause this, or you can find this on the CA website directly, that whether what kind of action can be done. Because these slides I will not be giving you guys. You will be only seeing this on the YouTube channel. Thank you very much. So carry on. So for any suspension or revocation of license, so you are not allowed to work, you are not eligible for it, you are not fit and proper, you provide fake information, your application or qualification have been withdrawn or cancelled, expired, you haven't paid your fine, you didn't comply the condition, the CA will give you once they suspend or revoke your license, they will give you a written notice of 21 days for you to take action. However, if within the 21 days you got no action done, they will still proceed with the action. However, CA can shorten the suspension period, but there will not be any refund if there's a fee required. Okay? So appeal board is being tested once in a while, but it's just for understanding. Okay? Appeal board is when the appeal to DC doesn't work anymore, which means you do not agree with DC, the disciplinary committee's reaction. This is after DC's decision. Then which means that you want to further appeal, you go to the appeal board. Appeal board also a public servant. You will appeal, listen and decide on appearance. Not more than 15 members. This is not open public. It will not suspend the effect on CA or DC decision. However, after the review and the appeal board's decision will take effect immediately, which means that they can override the DC or CA's decision after the investigation. Okay guys, we're going back a bit. So STR, suspicious transaction report. Okay guys, this when the CDD cannot be done, you need to file a STR. So STR only can be filed on SONA, which is known as STRO, Suspicious Transaction Report Office, online notice and reporting platform. We call it SONA, now it's a new one. So you have to do it through your EA Corp Plus. So if in any case of this, please inform your upline, your directors or your managers to inform them that you would like to lodge a STR. So any anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism obligation is illegal. We are all responsible to make this suspicious report. So the 2 acts are corruption, drug trafficking, and other serious offences. Confiscation of benefits. This is actually a done act, and terrorism, suppression of financing act. These 2 will be tested once a while for your understanding. Do take note. So going on forward, okay, these are all the regulations. So under the professional indemnity insurance, these have been tested. So the policy words are actually negligence and cost inclusive. So do take note the number of agents and how much they must have a minimum indemnity limit coverage for each everyone and the whole agency. So this table can be found on the CA website. The registration fee for RES is actually $230 every year. So you need to renew, it's another $230 at next year. Okay, under the estate agency work regulation. Okay, in the 2010, okay, these are the few that are most you must know as a RES. First, no dual representation, which means that you are not allowed to represent both buyer and seller on the same transaction. You only can represent one party. If there's any conflict of interest, do inform the buyer and seller, and both sides must agree to it before you can continue to act as them. So the fine will be 25, not up to 25,000, imprisonment up to 12 months of both. So we have been re-emphasizing B. There should not be any referral to any money lenders, or you should not be even related to any money lenders as a RES. So anything you refer, recommend, or suggest, or even receive any payment from them, you can be charged. So the fine will be 25,000, 12 months, and both. So guys, to remember this, just remember it's Christmas. It's a present if you committed this offense. 25k and 12 months. Okay, 25 12. So thirdly, this is one of the you must know is actually no holding of any transaction money. So do remember that any money related to purchase or sales of any property or lease of HDB are not allowed. You're only allowed to deliver cross-check, cashier order, reimbursement for any management fee, repair fee, stamp duty, and commission valuation fee. This fine is 10.6, so it's 10k, 6 months, or both. So the money that RES can handle as a RES you can touch. Firstly, is definitely all commission of all the proper job that you done. Yes, you can collect it from them. Secondly, valuation fee. Valuation fee can be paid by the RES first and reimbursed by the landlord or buyers. Okay, so for purchase of property, sales of property, the valuation fee can be claimed back by the buyer itself. So you can calculate it back from them. For the lease or valuation fee for private property lease is because they want to know the valuation to find out the annual valuation, annual value to have the amount of rental out per year. So this can be done. So the valuation fee, guys, annual value, you can actually find it online, other IRAS. You have to pay at 250 for those guys who want to know. So thirdly, stamp duty. List of both property, private property and HDB. Stamp duty can be collected from the tenant as you are acting for the tenant or helping the tenant to do the stamp duty. It must be done within 14 days, guys. Okay, don't remember, stamp duty must be done within 14 days. So rental deposit and security deposit for list of private property. Guys, this table must remember, this is tested for sure. Okay, E. So any use of CA symbols or representation. Do not use any logos, name, web domain that's related to it. It's also the same fine, 10,000, 6 months. So for EA card, estate agent card, or EA and RES, while conducting your EA job, you must display the card at all times. So if anyone asks to check the card or record the information, you must give them record. Don't worry, this is EA card is actually to protect you and show that you're actually a legal staff. So any card information must be on the EA card. Firstly, it will be RES name and his registration number, EA's name and license number, and thirdly RES photo to represent you. Okay, the fine will be 10,000 and 6 months. Proceeding to CEPCC, this is the Code of Ethics and Professional Client Care. It's just set a standard of professionalism lah. Quite straightforward. So everyone in the real estate industry have to comply to the law, not to perform things that they don't know. They must have the knowledge. So must be fairly conversed with all the acts and regulation by government, CA. You have to proceed with all the knowledge, everything. Keep yourself informed. Okay, this part I want to be going through. This is too much. Okay, due diligence compliance, guys. You must conduct due diligence at all times and care for anyone who is weird. It's your responsibility to find out whether are they the owner of the unit. So all RES and EA, I would say all agents are required to render a professional and conscientious services and act honestly, fidelity and integrity. So must protect the client's interest, follow client's instruction, must not mislead client with false information or misrepresentation, keep the client informed of all relevant information, must not must not do anything without relevant information do not keep any relevant information from the client, must not act against the client's interest. Okay, you must act ethically, honestly, fairly, and reasonable manner to all other parties, not to engage in illegal, dishonest, disethic act, not to convey false impression, and not to provide fake information to other parties. So do not bring any discredit or disreputation to the industry. This is do not do anything fraudulent, dishonor, deceitful, or misleading. Do not engage in touting. Do not threat, do not harass, or do not apply unreasonable pressure. Okay, this is quite straightforward. Anything that opinion that you say must be justifiable by reference with facts. Okay, it must not be a fake facts, must be a real fact supported by some documents. Do not solicit anyone who do not pay for payment if you did not engage the service. Okay, so duty of care. Okay, to sign of documents, guys, this is very important. First, you must give the client sufficient time before they can sign the paper. They must be able to read the paper. They must understand the consequences and the meaning in the consent form. If they do not understand, please get someone to translate for them or seek a professional advice. So after signing it, they must have a copy of the form immediately or as soon as possible in a reasonable time. Okay, obligations in respect of agreement. Okay, all agreement concern to finance an obligation in commitment in writing or records in the exact agreement between them. So we must everyone must comply. So as a RESEA, you must get all vendors or all sellers or landlords, buyers and tenants signature, everyone who's related, every single one. So ensure everyone who sign it has a copy as soon as possible. So everyone also have the sufficient time to read it before signing it and seek professional advice if needed. So do not let them sign any empty forms. Okay, not omitted, left blank and unfulfilled. Okay, so sorry. So convincing of all offers and counter offers. Okay, as a RES, any offers that's been given by the buyers or opposite parties, all offers, counter offers, proposal, express of interest must be told to the client, okay, objectively and as soon as possible. Translation needed, please get someone to translate or someone they know to translate the information to them. Okay, duties in the advertising, ensure that they are correctly and clearly identified in the advertisement and promotion material, corresponds to emails or anything. Okay, advertisement guys, later we go through one thing. So there must be some information inside it. There must be RES name, contact number, and all the license number, EA and RES for all advertisement except for classified advertisement, which is name and contact number. I'll go through this part now. So RES must comply that all information must not be inaccurate, fake or misleading, must correctly describe the property. Any claim of expertise or subject must be sustainable with verifiable facts and records. You must obtain a prior agreement before advertising. So you must get the owner's agreement before you can advertise the property. Do not advertise the property at a different price from the client's instruction. Do not provide any client's information without consent, such as name, price, rental, unpayable, and terms and conditions. So do not directly and indirectly infringe with any laws, regulation, rights. Okay. Remove of all advertisement once the property is no longer available. Duty of care to avoid conflict of interest. So do not make an appointment or ask for the clients if you have a conflict of interest or potential conflict of interest. As a RES or EA, you must declare in writing to the client for any conflict of interest. So if you are not able to declare, you have to withdraw immediately. If the client is informed of the COI and they consent that you can continue for them, yes, you can continue. If they did not consent, you are required to withdraw. So RES must not directly or indirectly purchase the client's property unless there's an express interest and the client consent to it. So you are not acting for the clients anymore. You'll be a direct buyer to a direct seller. Okay, So you only can collect a commission from third party with client's approval, such as bank referral or other referrals. So do not engage any parties that is compromise their discharge of obligation to client. So we always recommend professional advice if necessary. So safeguard confidential information. Do not disclose your client's information to anyone else unless it's made to appropriate person or extended authorities, okay, for permitted purposes only. Any violations of CEPCC is subjected to disciplinary act before the disciplinary committee. So there's a fine, demerit points, suspension, and revocation of license. Code of practice. So guys, so for the EA, the management and supervision, EA must in place documents and system. Actually, to in place proper writing, proper system process for all the RES to get their information, knowledge of CEPCC and all other acts and regulation. They also have to be EA also have to manage and supervise the business and all RES. For RES, everyone must comply to the law, the legal obligation, act professionally and reasonably, avoid repeating misconducts of the RES. EA also must vet all publicity and advertising materials, okay, prior to publication. So just now we are going through the EA card. EA card will be issued to every single RES according to CA regulation. So the things must be on the EA card. This will be tested: RES name, registration number, EA name, EA registration license number, RES photograph to show that it's you, contact number, email for complaint to REA. This is for them to contact the EA. Okay, cannot be replaced unless replacement with reason will be writing. EA will have to keep all proper information of the all EA cards issued, sent or lost or report or replacement. So for all complaints and claims, please EA have to have a system reasonable for them to receive and investigate. They must be all corrected, and all cases must be investigated. It must be all done in writing. Investigation must be done within 2 weeks. EA have to meet the complainant to find some possible resolution. So if CA require, EA have to publish the investigation information within 2 weeks lah. So as say, all the retention of any documents or keep of any must be kept in 5 years. Soft copies allowed. So under this, for all residential properties in Singapore, we are complied by CA to use their prescripted estate agency agreement. So the agents who are not able to perform the agreement must inform the client right away that they are not allowed to continue to act for them. So when you're actually there are actually two types: exclusive and non-exclusive. So for non-exclusive is form 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. For exclusive, it will be 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm so sorry that I copy paste and I didn't change the number. It's 5, 6, 7, 8. The sequence is the same. So for 5, 6, 7, 8 is all exclusive form. So the only properties that does not require this estate agency agreement will be property outside of Singapore, commercial or industrial property, en blocs or collective sales property, and lastly the new projects development, which is using the SMP. So compliance with CA mechanism for dispute resolution. Firstly, all the complaints can be sent to the ED, Executive Director of the company. If the director needs to raise the complaint to CA, it can be done. The formats of complaint can be in writing, in person, telephone, or email. Complaint handling. So firstly, if there's a sufficient cause, assign an investigation officer IO. The investigation will meet the complainant to take a statement. Investigation will be done. If they want to get help from other law agencies to continue investigate, it can be done. Any outcome, CA will take appropriate action. Complainant will be informed in writing of the outcome. May refer to disciplinary committee if needed. If not, they can actually issue LOW, LOC. But however, LOW, LOC will not be recorded in the public register. So, under the dispute resolution scheme, okay, there will be only 2 dispute resolution scheme. One is mediation, one is arbitration. So guys, this is the same thing again. I'll just proceed on. So for CA can require every single EARES to participate in the DRS, Dispute Resolution Scheme. So they only can use the approved subscriber dispute resolution center. Those who do not comply can get a fine up to 15,000, sanction the RES, and void their license, or if they do not comply. Within 14 days, the accused must show why CA they can appeal within 14 days why CA should not impose the penalty. If they don't appeal within 14 days, the action will be proceeded after the 14 days. Okay. All must be done in writing. So the cost of the dispute resolution scheme, EA will get no less than 50%. So anything more than 1 EA will be equally distributed or determined by the arbitrator. So for client wise, it will never be more than 50%, like most at 50%, unless the client is abusing of the process, vection, or affiliation. So the arbitrator can get the client to pay more than 50% if needed. So arbitrator shall not award any more costs other than the arbitrator fee. So they are only able to ask the person to pay for the fee lah, not additional fine or additional payment. If anything goes to that, you have to move up of the arbitration to take legal action against each other. So for the prescribed centers, for mediation, there's the case, Consumer Association of Singapore, SISV, Singapore Institute of Survey and Valuator, Singapore Meditation Center, SMC. Arbitration, there is SIA, Singapore Institution of Arbitration, and Singapore Institute of Surveyor and Valuator. Guys, it's easy because you got SISV for both. So you just need to remember one for each will do. So a total of 2 each is enough. This can be tested lah. So all of them must participate in the act, the resolution. Everyone who summoned RES involved must attend all unless excused, must provide all information, give a reasonable support, must help out the investigation. Okay? It's quite straightforward. So the offence, penalty, and disciplinary action against all the I will not be going through. That will be too much. Go read into a CA website, look for all the acts, the guidelines, the follow-ups, the code of practice. Download every one single one of them. Remember, read it up yourself. This can be tested, but not to the extent lah. So your job in paper 2 is actually to remember, understand the acts, the laws and regulation for as a RES, not to remember all too much calculations. Okay, go guys, carry on. RES part 4.
I found a few locations
sorry,
for
guys.
4 near you.
So RES, first you must understand what is a RES. It's an individual who performs EA work lah. So you actually provide reasonable assistance and advice. You should always provide professional advice and reasonable instructions and requests from clients. Follows the client's instruction through negotiation, informing all the offers, proposal, and express interest. Seek client's consent before advertising. Explain co-broke, how co-broke works. Explain all relevant forms and documents. Assist client to enter a binding contract with other party. Declare COI and inform any commission receivable. So the rules and responsibility. Okay, you must take instruction from the clients. You must also obtain the reasons of sales, the vacant progression, the type form of agency, price expectation, any terms condition to pay for commission, the viewing arrangement, which level of advertisement you're doing, who is the lawyer, the details of the property such as verification of ownership. RES, first terminology is to reduce conflict. Okay, guys. So understanding the difference in in-lease, real lease, and HDB map. So guys, this is actually tested in the actual exam. So you must read the exam. Even the name of it is so in-lease, integrated land information services. Service. Okay, I don't know why I say services, so it's weird, but service. So it's actually you're able to get the land information, title information, ownership information, maps, status map, land description, lot numbers This is from SLA. SLA has in this. Secondly, realist is real estate information system. Okay guys, I did here over here. Do take note, it's a system. So this actually a is actually a data center for URA to provide this for you guys. This is from URA. The information can be taken up from there. Do take note. All the things information are all based on data. Real estate, private and industrial and commercial data. Okay, the last one is HDB website, HDB maps. Okay, the info web, you are able to get all related to HDB, residential, commercial, industrial. However, you have more information that such as all related to HDB. So do take note the three differences. Okay. Marketing. What is a marketing? Actually, marketing is to determine the needs and wants of buyers. Okay, the buyers. You're actually marketing on the behalf of buyers. You're trying to actually satisfy the needs and wants. So actually, it's also to strategy the allocation of resources such as time and money to achieve the objective of marketing. So as a marketing, you have a buyer's needs mindset. Products must fit their own interest, and customer service is the first priority. For selling, seller's mindset, sell for a profit, sales is their mindset. So depending on what's your view of it. So we carry on with this. Marketing segmentation, which means actually focusing on the market effort groups. Okay, correct groups, which means you're dividing it into specific groups. So you can be divided into a few types such as geographic, demographic, behavior, and psychological graphic. Psychological graphic, yeah, correct. Psychographic. So for geographic can be a land, region, size of city, density, and neighborhood. Demographic can be the size, family cycle, household, income, status, education, religion, race, nationality. Behavior, how they going to use the place, occasion, what stage is he in, are they ready to move up. Psychological is like lifestyle, some people prefer higher end, lower end, personality and interest. So knowing the differences of needs, you're able to do the different things. Okay. Product differences. So there are differences in products such as for different kind of family. So to take note that product differences, the concerns factors are profile, demographic and life stages, psychological, what kind of lifestyle they like, geographic, which location they like, and behavior, what kind of have they buy, what kind of things they like to use, and what kind of channels can be used. So this part, product differential, I will go back a little later, slightly below. Okay, another product differential is actually based on marketing targets. So you are targeting one or more segments to focus your marketing effort, which means you must be specialized or focused in one area. So the undifferential marketing is targeting for whole market. No differential, undifferential market is like which means a housing everyone can stay, such as HDB. HDB such as it's a whole market, everyone can use it. For differential marketing, it's actually a targeting, such as studio apartments are targeted for singles, 2 and 3 bedroom housings are targeted for small families or newlyweds. Penthouse are normally for big families, such as more than 5 or 6 people. So differential marketing, so your focus of marketing products are targeting different groups of people. Thirdly, concentrated marketing such as Orchard's property under the CCR are actually for high net worth CEOs and marketing directors. So concentrated strategy is called nickel marketing. Guys, this nickel marketing, do take note that it's been tested in the past. So actually it's just focusing on few segments of few markets such as landed, CCR, high net worth people, alright? So after getting all knowledge of those, please moving to market positioning. So how are you going to position yourself as a brand? So you must be branding yourself as a standard or a level to others for people to take note of, okay, which market are you, which target are you, giving a consumer a reason to buy, how products are communicated, and how are these elements infused with. So market positioning is a branding. It's a branding of yourself or the client's product. So you must always remember that as an agent, you also have to market yourself as an agent and branding market. Okay. Next, marketing mix. There's a total of 4 P's in our notes. However, it's a total of 7 P's. 3 P's are actually very new. Don't be surprised. These 3Ps I will just go through with you a bit, but I will not go in detail. So the first 4P, product, price, promotion, and place. The new 3Ps is people. Who are the people involved? The process, the process of the work, and lastly, the physical evidence, the physical product itself. Okay, a physical process also. So the 3Ps are not tested, so do not take note too much of it. I will just focus on the first 4P. First P will be product. So the type of product you guys have, the characteristic of it, the service of the RES is also part of the product. So the price such as you are able, as a RES, you're supposed to do a market analysis, comparative market analysis to advise on the price, such as under URA, bank valuation, and HDB, right? So the factors affecting the prices are market trend, location, environment, and accessibility. These are the few factors that are affecting the price. So continue with the prices, that actually property attribution affects the price too, such as size, frontage, corner, the high floor, low floor, good view, not good view, condition, old, new, renovation required, layout, is it good or not? Some people like this shape, some people don't like this shape. Any facility such as gym, pool, tennis court, car park, security. So the place is not only about physically where it is, it's also where you are going to distribute your information, such as marketing channels, distribution channels, physically where the property are at, where's the actual place of the property, and where your advertisement are going to capture people's eyes. So marketing mix for the fourth one will be promotion. Promotion will be where are the advertisement going to be like, what kind of advertisement going to be like, how you're going to make promotion, advertising tools to advertise the property. It's quite similar, but this is about the marketing information advertisement. Okay, so such as newspaper, internet, flyer, social media, and the co-broke system within the own EA. So consumer buying decision, guys, this is being tested. Do take note that firstly, the consumer have to identify needs and think of a product to meet their needs lah. Second, they will search for the products to satisfy the need. Third, they will shortlist and filter the best to meet their needs. 4, before making the purchase, they will think of what other people will think and what things they unforeseen circumstances. Lastly, after purchasing, consumers will always think that the other product will be better. Grass at the opposite looks greener. So they will go through a post-purchase discernment. So do take note of all these things exam tested. So factors that are affecting a buyer buying behavior also is the culture. What kind of culture do they have? A social, what kind of groups and friends and family status they have? Personal factors such as age, life cycle, occupation, lifestyle, personality. Psychological factors such as motivation, reception, living, belief. Alright. So as a marketing agent, the marketing plan must be done in advance, such as planning, marketing current situations, threats and opportunity, objective and issues. So market strategy, action plan, budget, and control. So next, the more important one, qualities of prospective leads. So how do you know whether the leads are ready to buy or sell? First, the ability to buy, sell, or rent. Second, the authority. Is this person the owner or the POA or anyone with this decision power? Is he deciding to buy or not? Third, inclination to purchase. Is this guy ready or wanting to purchase, or they are not ready for it, or they're just looking around taking their time? You must be able to concentrate your focus at somewhere. Last, budget. Can the client meet the loan requirement? Do they have the cash in hand to purchase it? Alright guys, you need to be doing the financial calculation for this part. So for market research, to process and gather analysis ready to interpret the information on the target market. So also need to provide relevant data to help the business to solve marketing challenges. So there will be two types of data. First will be for the research purpose. Second will be for other purposes, such as for giving to government, statistics, or URA. So for government market research, there's a lot of information online. Once you become an agent, you will know where to find it. So paper 2 part 5, marketing of property in Singapore. Okay guys, we are already halfway through. I'll try to speed up a little bit. So there are 3 types of listing. One will be the executive rights, one will be exclusive rights. Exclusive rights of sales, one is exclusive agency listing, and one is the open listing. So for the first one will be form 5, 6, 7, 8. For the second one will be an EA listing, and the last one will be open listing if everyone can do it. So do take note of the advantages and disadvantages of every single listings type. First will be exclusive listing. So if on which 3 months, whoever sell it, RES will still earn it. RES, there's only one RES allocated, so more budget will be done for the marketing, more committed to the sales. However, if the wrong RES doing it, you will not be able to sell it if they don't advise you accordingly. So for the exclusive agency listing, a seller have to sell it themselves. The agent will not get it. So if agent pay only when the EA or RES close the deal for them. So it's a company listing, but if too many listing, they will forget it. Okay, open listing, which is anyone can be listing. Only the RES who close it will earn the money. It will have a lot of challenges and competition. However, people will start to undercut and compromise the best interest of the sellers. So this listing contracts the estate agency agreement, which is the form 1 to 8 prescribed by the CEA. So it's a contract between the agency or the agents again with the owner. Clearly state out the rights, responsibility and duties of the EA and owners, and the commissions upon successful closure. RES must use this form by CEA that includes the information such as the address, the owners, the objective, the expiry date of the contract, and the amount of commission payable. So always get your clients to sign before you do these things, okay? So for the mode of sales, firstly will be the private treaty, tender and auctions. Okay, so what will affect the methods of sales, such as price, agency, nature of property, court order, property no longer fulfill its function, or purpose of sales, or privacy. These are the some factors that affects the methods. So the most common one we will see is actually private treaty. It can be done, advantages and disadvantages. So it will be done privately, one-to-one buyer and seller with the RES in between to help to manage flow and negotiation with reasonable price. So guys, read up the advantage and disadvantages. Guys, I will not go through this because you guys are actually ready to start preparing for the exam. I can pause the video to watch it. I'm not going to go through this. Secondly, auction. What is a reserve price? Is the agreed price to be sold. Anything higher than that can be done. What are the differences between auction? Is open to public. There will be a bidding. There will be no cooling period. And it's a 10% down payment on the day itself. So advantage, disadvantage, read it yourself. Pause the video if you need. Carry on. Tender, there is actually a blind bidding. It will be a blind bidding that no one knows each other's bidding amount. So do read up these things. There's also a reserve price on this, so that once an agreed price, they can sell it off. Without achieving this price, take the advantage and disadvantage of the information you need. Next, I'll go faster, guys, because I don't have that much time, and I realize that we'll be slowing down a lot. So we're going faster. So for the practice guidelines on ethic advertising is under the CA website on the guidelines. I will not go through every single thing. Some things you should know already, such as KEO need to ensure that all advertisement by RES is compliant to law. It must be supervised and managed. It must be vetted by the EA and KEO. And must have a guideline on all the show the guidelines, the do's, the don'ts, the guideline, the methods, what kind of what's the infringement of all the acts. I'm going very fast now. So for subletting, you must get the original owner's approval for further sublet from the current. You must ascertain the rightful owner's signature sublet of all owners. You must get separate consent from individual owners to do sublet or sales or rental of the units. So the details of the EARES must be correct and clear on all the information advertisement except for newspaper. Everything must be in there, such as flyer, pamphlet, newspaper. Only newspaper is a special case. You only have 2, which is name and contact number. Alright. So So guys, so for advertising content must not have any inaccurate, false or misleading. Must have an underlying terms and condition. Any claims of rate of return, near return, capital gain must be supported by got source, credible source, or information or past data lah. And must be all the advertisement must be accurate and truthful. Any explanatory or disclaimer must be in the minimum size of font 8 must be minimum size of font 8 must be visible to everyone. So all advertisement photo must not be altered, must be used the original photo of the property. Internal photo must be the internal of the property. External view must be the view from the unit. You cannot be using other units or cannot use other places, okay? So claim of expertise, you must be have verifiable facts given with professionalism, okay? Any claims sustainable must have sustainable facts. Also again, do not use misleading words. Okay, for the price must not differ from instructions from the owner. Any offers done, please go back. Do not state COV, 100% COV, no, so such thing. You're not allowed to advertise on cash or valuation, or should not indicate any race or religion in all advertisement. Even if there's a EIP or national coverage quota, they are not allowed to state this, okay? Not allowed to. So no, all advertisements shall not infringe any law or regulation rights lah. So do not advertise such as sell before MOP or getting them to sell before not allowed to sell and they tell them to sell, okay? So you must remove the advertisement once the property is sold, contract end, or if it is a flyer, or please state your dates of issue of the flyers so that you can prevent yourself from getting into trouble. So for RES exam, okay, for co-broking, guys, do understand that how it works. This is very important, been tested a few times. Involvement of 2 or more RES in the same property transaction. So all agents must act ethically, fairly, honestly and reasonable manner to everyone else. It's a negotiation between client and RES. We are not allowed to mention in our advertisement no co-broking applicable or no agents allowed, okay? No use of dummy advertisement, no use of copy advertisement, or no use do not give a false representation easy. So for advertising methods, guys, I'll go through those that are very important. So for flyers and pamphlet, do not distribute on vehicles to correct public nuisance. Outdoor banners or must have LTA and BCA approval. This is very important, okay guys. I'll highlight in black now because all my notes. So this part is very important, that must have approval, license, BCA license number, LTA approval license number, serial number, expiry date of the thing. It must be kept well maintained, okay? Secondly, SMS, this will be tested. You have to comply to DNC Act. Do not cause necessary. You must have your name and contact number of RES. Clients are allowed to unsubscribe requests. And lastly, do not operate calling or SMS after 10 p.m. and before 9 a.m. This is a no working hour. You comply to PDPA also. So email, please guys take note of the, you must indicate the advertisement logo and the unsubscription options. For any talk and seminar, the individual who is conducting the talk and seminar must be a licensed and registered under CEA, okay? So for administrative process, EA must vet all the things. KEO have to approve a process for vetting of all the advertisement. All content and marketing techniques must be done in the internet advertising also. There's a regulation by the government. So use of data, do not disclose flaws, units, investigate information from URA for personal not allowed to be marketing use. So public available compared to the TNC an indication of source of data. Lastly, internet marketing. You must it can be an internet EA website. Do not copy someone else's app if you are not actually representing them. Photo information must be actual. Do not be a misleading one. Don't be other units. Social media can be done, but you must have a license number, EA number of the RES and EA. You also need to have accurate information. Okay, while marketing and communicating with clients, do take note as an agent, you are not allowed do not forget to inform that void area is included in the flooring area, but void area is not a usable area. Office unit in Soho are not allowed to be marketed as a residential unit. Industrial units cannot be marketed as an office use only unit. HDB where MOP are not met are not allowed. Must be very sensitive when you are handling these cases because you have to meet the MOP first. Facilitating illegal subletting. If those HDB are not allowed to sublet after the first sublet ready, so please take note. Must be also, if for private property, it must be agreed by the first owner in their first contract. Okay. So statement that such as no co-broking, religion, race or culture are not allowed to be placed inside the advertisement. So for outdoor advertisement display such as signage, board, please guys, this one I want to go through. This is the CEA website under Advertisement Act. Okay, practice. So this one I will not go through anymore. I will just proceed on with all these banners. Guys, if you guys need any screenshot, let me know. I will just pause for a second for you guys to pause the video to watch it if you want to. Okay, guys, this was ever tested. Banners more than 30 meters from ground level. Okay, not more than 50%, maximum 3 banners on one property. So for the Spam Control Act, guys, under the PTPA, DNC Act, if people unsubscribe, you must remove their name in within 10 business days. Anyone SMS or email sent out within the unsubscribed list, you will be fined $25 per SMS or email up to $1 million. Self-study, I won't be going through. So for the scrap, it's actually the code of advertisement practice in Singapore. It must be all truthful, lawyer, must come. Or all this might be tested, might not be tested. I can't guarantee you it, but all this information you must know it. So PDPA, okay, this will be tested for sure. So under the PDA is actually a protection act. For any information, they can identify anyone by the organization or anyone from the data. So under the DNC, do not call the registry for Singaporeans who can register their Singapore mobile phone number, opting out for marketing calls and messages. So there are 9 obligations that for this PDPA. So guys, read up yourself. I'm not going to read up. It's under the CA website also. Under the PDPA Act's obligation, do read up. Okay, for DNC, do not call. This one I will go through with you. That you must be clear and unambiguous consent. Any email marketing site must have a contact information for yourself and a clear information for all the information. So any voice call, caller ID must not be concealed identity. So you must introduce yourself as who, from where, and what's your contact details. Alright. So any decency registry result will be found in 30 days lah. Okay, sure. DNC is tested what it means, how it works, and everything else. So marketing of residential property in Singapore. The result of sales, I did go through once already. So guys, please proceed on. So list of source of list of marketing, you can do a newspaper listing, developer projects, referrals, mailings, telemarketing, and others. Okay, all these read yourself. I will not go through all the pros and cons and advantages. So listing information providers such as info tools, power search, available online and offline. Due diligence. After getting a listing as a RES, you're supposed to check the ownership of the property and the Bankruptcy Act. Because some bankruptcy, they have some sensitive things. And if there is with tenancy, sales with tenancy, take note when is the tenancy starting date, ending date. And do inform in the marketing that this is a tenancy property. Facts affecting prices of a residential property. Okay guys, this one I won't go through anymore. You should know by now. So carry on. So for marketing landed property, take note of the strict block plans by under URA and the foreign ownership control, including PR. PR are considered foreigners, so they will need LDAU approval from controller of resident property from RSLA, and these are considered restricted property. The price affecting the resident property, I'm not going to go through this again. Marketing condo and apartments, yeah, actually a medium or high density housing area, they have a high plot ratio, a minimum size of 1,000 square meters, it's a strata titled properties lah. So there will be share values, and total share values affects the maintenance fee, such as management fund, sinking fund, work broker, and there will be also a management corporation MCST to bylaws to follow. Oh, sorry, I got another 2 slides in me. So marketing for commercial properties, guys. Who are the players? Developer, REITs, HDB, commercial owners, developer. So commercial properties are actually blue in the master plan. They're 100% commercial property. They are mixed, such as 40%, up to 40% are used for commercial, 60% used for residential. It's shorter divided. Guys, for the shorter division for commercial property, please read up the URA website, as it has been changed in March 2022. It will be tested in your exam most likely. So do take note of that part. So residential with commercial, such as shop houses, which is the level 1 are used for commercial use, and level 2 and above are used for residential use. It can be shorter divided if allowed. So price affecting the strata titles are okay. These are the things that you will know. It's quite common. So do take note of the information. Read it yourself. I will go through a few of them that are more important, such as medical center in a commercial building up to 3,000 square meters or 20% square GFA. Retail shops higher footfall, which means more people visiting the place. Minimum space of 50 square meters. Do take note for retail shop. Take note of the corner units influence. What is a trade mix, and what is an anchor tenant? Okay, the rest are actually quite straightforward. What are these 3 about? So my head black, all the black markings, these are all the things that to take note of the prices and how it affects the marketing of the place. So for commercial school, it's actually just for teaching and studying. Must be approved, and all the rest is quite straightforward. Read it yourself. So for child care center, is only allowed under semi-D or detached. Minimum noise is based on a temporary permit of 2 years. No other child care center is within 350 meters of radius within the estate. There are controls they need to control by the CC operators and operating hours. The road speed limit must not be higher than 70 km per hour for the safety of the family and the kids. So marketing industrial property. So industrial property, there will be developers, JTC, REITs, HDB industrial, and individuals owners. Mostly are factories and warehouses. So SSD, seller stamp duties, are applicable to industrial property and residential property. So JTC, they have prepared industrial lands, such as generic lands or specialized lands, such as business park, aerospace park, biomedical park, metropolis. Okay, all those are ready-made space, office for them. So JTC already divided them quite a lot, or even some housing. So the maximum lease from JTC is 3 years, and you can renew. So under JTC, there's a lot of compliance you must follow. URA, Land Zone Act, what kind of usage can be used, NEA, pollution control, SCDF, fire safety for petroleum and flammable material regulation. All these must be controlled. Food, JTC food zone, all those are not tested once. For the negative list, there's a few lists that things cannot be used. Any commercial office to be used under JTC industrial area must be a related company to the mainland anchor tenant, and it must be a 40/60 lease control again. So the admin fee for subletting will be $200 plus GST. Sublet not up to 3 years. Still have to comply before and after subletting of the 60/40 use of land. Subletting not allowed to sublet the land. Maximum sublet and subletting fee will be $500 a year lah. So read it out on the JTC website, guys. I'm not going to go through this. Villages used under industrial premises that are using it under B1 zone, not exclusive and limited usage, must be within the 40% auxiliary use quantum of the whole unit. 2 days per week to do at their religious events. No display of signage, no noise, no phenomenal traffic problems. Okay, it must be all clear. So marketing a special property such as a conservation property, shop house, or even there are a lot of things that you need concern, such as location, price, is it conservation, is there car park, is it. So conservation properties, guys, you have to read up the advantages and disadvantages yourself. Why is it taken in and out? Conversation. Do remember 1 or 2 historic district, residential district, secondary and bungalows under conservation. So historically, there's a few I can give you is Boki, Chinatown, and Little India. So the 3 Rs have been tested over and over again when you want to do renovation or maintenance works onto a conservation property. Take note of the 3 Rs, which is maximum retention, sensitive restoration, and careful repair. These 3 will be tested for sure. I'm pretty sure of that. For leisure properties such as in Clarke, the value is actually affected by the volume of business. Any operators to get their own relevant license to operate, and parking features is very important for this. So there are hotels, car parks, and other things. Don't go through. I'll proceed on. So under the consumer protection, fair trading, under part 11, it's actually to protect the consumers, and there will be a list of unfair practices. There are 24. Please read up on the CA website yourself. I will not go through. So actually to provide the consumers with relevant and material information. So it does not apply to sales of property. It does not apply to sales of property. It only applies rental of residential property and service rendered by us lah. Okay, this does not applies to purchase and sale. It's only rental and of residential property and services. So the 24 unfair practice, do read it yourself. I will not go through. So there's too many information on that. Do understand how it works, such as I summarize it all. So do not do or say or omit to do or say anything that result in consumer might be deceased or mislead or make false claim. Any false claim can be done on a small claim tribute capped at 30,000 within 2 years of occurrence or discovered, whichever later. So taking advantage of a consumer, knowing the consumer does not have a position to protect their own interest or do not understand it. It can occur before, during, and after a transaction. It can be consist of one action or multiple action or omission. So determine on the reasonable of act by the CA consideration and what the CARES authority is and how do they prevent this thing to happen will be considered under the Unfair Practice Investigation Act. So remedies for unfair practice by court, valuation of contract, order for repair, monetary damage reward, or specific actions performance. So guys, I'm going faster and faster. So for RES paper 2 part 12, sales of incomplete residential properties first. So for building under construction, I will not go through the complete one. I'll go through the incomplete one. So show flats, such as it's only show flats, building under approval, building plan approval by BCA. There's a 12-month defect availability period, fresh leasehold, and it's does not generate rental income right away because the property is not ready. There will be higher price, developer price, higher PSF is not negotiable. Developer have control over the price. If anything, any area more than 3% less than the S&P, there will be a price adjustment. So guys, if you need to see the compare the table, please pause my video and watch it yourself. I will only go through the building under construction part. So the advertisement will be full color advertisement, newspaper, online, magazine, TV show. The showroom will have interior design done with it, which is very nice, everything. Promotion sometimes comes with vouchers, renovation, or furniture that's provided or related to the property. So sometimes they have a very nice marketing of location, where is it positioned at, which view they are having, everything. So the campaign of marketing is very high for the new launch. So it's under BUC, and there will be an in-house marketing team and a joint marketing team agents all around the places. So under building under construction, okay, they must have a prescribed OTP and SMP agreement. OTP cannot be reassigned. SMP will be the binding contract. So to exercise the OTP, you will need to pay up to 5 to 10% within the next 3 weeks. Exercising of the whole OTP must be a 20%, excluding the OTP price. and depending on the process of work done, because it will be a progressive payment. The marketing have to be controlled under the Housing Development Control and Licensing Act. If you're forfeiting the contract on SMP, you will have forfeit 20% of the purchase price of the property. There will be a 10-stage processive payment problem. To market and to be able to sell or not, you need to have the license. To get it, sales or no sales license, and there must be a registration book of recording lah. So, Housing Developer Control and Registration Act. So for the construction of the housing and accommodation is more than 4 units. Guys, I want to go through these two in detail. So anything development more than 4 units or AA Act to increase the you need a licensing act. Okay, there will be two types of license, sales license and no sales license. So sales license is you can sell while construction. No sales license you only can sell after TOP. For the deposit, the deposit and payout capital for the sales license is 1 million. For the non-sales is 100k. Please comply to all the project acts, the whatever the sales license required, and to take note everything. My information all inside here. I will not go through every single one because we don't have that much time. But do take note yourself. I can pause the video to copy down all my notes. So duty for a license developer, you need to inform 4 weeks of any alteration, or must open a project account, read it up yourself. Mandatory use for a project account, what can be used, the money inside a project account, what can be used for what purpose, read it up yourself also under the CA Act. Appointment of auditor, accounting, weekly submission for the registration or booking to the council, whoever purchased the property every week. So for a new BUC, draw to scale, location plan, site plan, and floor plan must be done. How the breakdown of the strata title is strata land, strata projects, specification, material, restriction, all the benefits offered. So the standard prescripted OTP, all the developers must use. You cannot change it. No amendments can be done unless approved. SMP is also the same. Must be a prescripted SMP, and no amendments can be done unless approved. Without approval, the contract, the amendments must be voided. It must be using the standard procedure SMP and OTP. So a share evaluation must be approved by the BCA, Commission of Building Control. It will affect the share value and the maintenance fee charge for each own different property. Developer obligation, you're required to build a good property, give a buyer's writing confirmation of item provided. Any changes must be informed by common property, must be informed to the buyers, and all the necessary acts, and obtain the SSCT. Buyer's obligation, you have to do payment on a schedule. If any late payment, interest will be charged. How the late payment charge regarding, please read it up yourself. I will not go through every single thing because the video will be very long now. So any CSC is not issued, the purchasers are not allowed to do AA work without consent from the developer. So purchaser must pay the developer 6 months maintenance fee first, for them to help them manage and maintain the first 6 months before the MCST created or signed with all the bylaws and everything. So once a vacant possession is given, purchaser have to pay property tax and any outgoing levy fees lah. So developers show unit rules. These have been tested. Show unit all show unit must be displayed accurately according to approval plan. All of the land plan, location plan must be drawn to scale, showing the vicinity of 500 meters radius. Lodge a declaration with controller before the opening of the showroom. So guys, do remember the 10 steps of progressive payment. So take note that SAL, Singapore Academy of Law, is a stakeholder to hold on the money for the developers, just in case the developer refuse to make good within the first 12 months to the property. The deduction, repair money will be coming out from the SAL. So the last 5% will be given as, I will show this part. This is actually at the black color pen. This is actually at the last part, the 15%. So do remember every single process on how much payment, where and what time should they do payment. Okay. So for the last 15%, the last payment, do take note under the two scenario whether the CSC is issued before or after the completion. the 2%, 30 and 8 and 5%, how are the difference going to be like, okay? Do take note of the 5% will be given to SAL. The 13% going to SAL. To take note of that. So you guys must know which money is going to where, how is it going to be payment up. Subsale of units, which means selling off the units before the completion of units. This only can be done under BUC, and the first buyer will have to inform the developer of the subsale. The developer will come with a new SMP to the second buyer with the original price agreed with the first buyer. The price differences that agreed between the first buyer and second buyer will be done by the lawyer themselves. This is a lawyer 1 and lawyer 2 problem. Developer will still be doing the SMP with the second buyer with the original price. Okay, there will be no price changes. The differences will be done by the lawyers. So repetition of contract. So this is any late payment or no payment. As long as after 14 days, the developers can charge a 2% interest per annum to the seller based on the payment amount. So after 21 days, the buyers do not reply or do not the developer can renounce the contract and to sell and claim back the 20%, recover any interest, installment, and forfeit 20% payment fee, and sell the product. So notice of vacant possession must be done within the date stated in SMP or 21 days after the 9th payment, 25% payment done. So failing to deliver will be liquidated damage. So defects liability period within the first 12 months after vacant possession, the developer have to make good of whatever defects is found. Any defects that are not real, the developer do not do, the buyer, the new owner, can actually notice the developer his intention to rectify, and after 14 days the developer do not react, which means after 6 months and 6 weeks, if nothing is done by the developer, the purchaser can actually rectify the problem and claim it back from the developer. The claim can be done from Singapore Academy of Law, where the last few percentage are hold in. So liquidated damage is when you do not deliver any vacant possession within a date, there will be a LD. LD charge, the payment interest rate, LD will be there 10% per annum for BUC, and for completed housing, those ready housing, it will be 8%. So for shortfall of area, this is very important. For any shortfall of area, anything not more than 3% or 3%, there will be no deduction on the purchase price. Anything more than 3%, 3.1% and above, the deduction can be done to the purchase price. So the developer have to refund the difference in the price. So guys, for BUC under commercial property, 90% are quite similar. It's just that they do, I will go to the, please read it up yourself, the differences under uncompleted commercial property. I will not go through. I will go through the differences, okay? Okay, the differences under BUC buildings under residential and commercial is the option fee must have a minimum of 5%, maximum of 10%. For the BUC under commercial, there's no minimum OTP fee, but it's a maximum of 10%. So if the OTP is not exercised, you will refund 75% for the residential, however 50% for commercial. License is not required, project account is not required, and no rules and regulation to follow for commercial building under construction. For residential, there is a mandatory license, sales and no sales license. There must be a project account required for sales license, and they must all follow the advertisement regulation under housing developer rule regulation, okay? So sales process for part 14, completion of sales process for private property. So we'll go from step 1, buyer. I will go to step 1. You have see here that salesperson is actually seller is asking for a 500k property, the buyer is offering 400,000. So they'll go into a negotiation. Buyer will offer the seller a 1% OTP fee for the OTP. So if the seller rejects the price negotiation, the 1% OTP fee will be returned to the buyer. If they accept it, seller will accept the 1% OTP and issue OTP. It must be exercised within 14 days. If the buyer decided to exercise the 14 days OTP, they will have to, within the step 5, buyer will have to pay 4% OTP, total of 5% to the lawyer, with the lawyer to the seller. So after exercising, if they decided not to exercise, the buyer decided not to exercise, the seller will forfeit the 1% OTP fee. If they decided to exercise, they will proceed to the completion, which is 10 to 12 weeks, with no lawyer will proceed on. So guys, we're going through one by one. OTP is actually an irrevocable offer binding the sellers, not the buyers. The buyers have a 14 days with a risk of 1%. So the sellers cannot back out after once they issue the OTP. So it can be reassigned if N and all nominee is included. Once exercised, 4% must be paid. So within the OTP, there must be 3 P's: property, price, and parties. Who are the parties? Validity period, and what is the completion period of the things. So once the exercising of OTP, the buyer's lawyer can write into the government bodies, the 6 government bodies, for replies or anything. If any replies are unsatisfactory, buyers have the right to cancel the purchase without any forfeit. So for Bankruptcy Act, OA will take over the assets for as a public trustee. Okay. So the rest of the acts are not going. So any disposal of property will track back to 3 years. So any property within 3 years will be dishonored . So it's viable. So the OA can take back to take action against it. So any private property disposal must be require OA. There's no automatic discharge. Buying any 5-room or smaller HDB is allowed as long below 500k, no need OA approval. Above 500k, yes, you need. So to check any Bankruptcy Act, please check into the law government sector to check its bankruptcy. Okay, law society condition of sales. This one, as long as it's a completed property, any late completion will be 8% per annum. Seller stamp duty applicable within first 3 years, and it's only cash term only. Okay, next. So okay guys, this part under vacate possession, all movable property must be removed on the VP date, vacant possession date. So these two part, these two. Seller are entitled for any sales and profit and liable for all fees, expenses to and include the scheduled completion date. And including the scheduled completion date, the new buyers taking over are only entitled for all the rental profit and expenses, outgoing fee levy after the completion date. So buyer have to pay the GST. So any debt shall not postpone more than 3 months. Completion must be done within 21 days. Notice of completion. And sellers provide buyers documents to inspect for the last 1 month. Buyer fail to complete will have all deposit forfeited, but seller can continue to sell away. Payment shall be done to lawyers conveyancing account, okay, for the law firm or SAL. Check dishonor not considered, so contract will be annulled and reaffirm the if you want to confirm it, can sue the buyer for breaking a contract. So guys, this is also under CEA website. So under the condition of 5, seller must develop property the same state and condition on the day of OTP, day of option, except for wear and tear, as it is basis. Seller give warranty to buyer, no unauthorized work, no undervalue gift or transfer, and agent must disclose this to buyer and seller under any way. For legal completion after the 21 notice of completion, balance of deduction must be done, completion statement, what is infected, outstanding loan, property tax pay, utility bill pay, maintenance fee pay, RES commission pay, and lawyer fee all paid off. And stamp duty must be payable for both buyer and seller if applicable. What is a BMSMA? It's a Building Management Strata Management Act. So management corporation will be created comprising of any subsidiary strata property by so there will be a subsidiary proprietors, subsidiary owners to manage the MCST lah. We call it MC. So MC will control and manage common property. They are self-governed. They are actually a legal entity. If it's a mixed use, there will be two MC managing the property. So MC property is actually have account records, proper records of all meetings, court orders. They also must have a strata roll of all individual owners of the units or subtenant or whatever. So share value is actually the share entitlement of it. This also includes that how much share value owner have. This will determine the contribution amount of the maintenance fee, the voting rights, and the share in a common property. How are the share value calculated? Is based on this table. So guys, go read up yourself. I will not go through this. Share value must be accepted by the COB before you know. So share value, which is more heavier notice for mixed development. So firstly will come the highest fee will go to the highest share value will go to the retail shop, then to the office, then to the residential. To take note of that. Bylaws made by the management corporation, everyone have to comply. There are bylaws within the Acts, BMSMA Act that all MC must adapt to. Any extra must comply and go through the law and must be agreed to by all majority of the owners. Breaching of it, the MC can take actions against them by charging a act or recover the damages, including management fee. Subsidiary proprietors are owners, purchasers who buy the ownership of the property under SSCT. So the subsidiary proprietors have to contribute to the management fee, contribute to the maintenance and payment management of the common property, extension lots, interlock which are willing to investigate and work with other parties with the management or opposite parties on any leak or repair, split the cost after 12 months, bylaws, improvement and additional to lots, resolutions, what other things. Please guys still read it yourself. I'm not going to go through this. Contribution of maintenance fee based on share value. So what are the two type of funds? One is the management fee for daily use, maintenance, insurance, day-to-day. Okay. From sinking fund, it's used for painting, management, acquiring new property, removal property, repair, and others. If 30 days due, this is action if late payment for, please read up yourself. I'm not going to go through. Okay, guys? Because I got a lot of things to go on later. So for M block, guys, I will not go through this. There is actually a collective sales M block of property that you go through. I will not go through why. You can read it yourself. So what is an M block? What is a collective sales? Why is there an M block? To increase the plot ratio, or is the property to own? How is this M block going to be formed? How is this collective sales committee going to be formed? By majority consent. Within how many years? 80% of strata area of fair value. All this, do remember, read out yourself. Any owners that sign off have a 55 days cooling period if they don't want to proceed with that. So as long as there's a committee, they must update all the owners every 4 weeks. How many owners have agreed and signed on this strata value? I will not go through this, but this is one of the criteria. You must know. So for en bloc process, you must know how are the committee formed, how many people are in the committee, responsibility and roles. What if there's a failed attempt of en bloc, and how do they reattempt? Any objections for en bloc? What are the factors for approval? Where should the en bloc be bring up to? Strata title board or high court? Guys, go read it on strata title board for the en bloc informations. Okay, strata title board for en bloc informations. So just for some random notes, for ADA, attention, interest, desire, action. This is actually a marketing information. So for property with negative sales, which means selling, so anything below valuation, you need the sellers have to pay back all the money to CPF. Even though if there's a negative sales, but however selling above valuation, you don't need to pay back CPF. For RES, moving from one EA to another EA, there's no need for you to pay the registration fee again within the valid period. Co-broke terms and conditions must be agreed before entering into a transaction. Foreign buyers are only allowed to own up to 99% of the condo. They are not allowed to own 100%. Any anti-money laundering and funding terrorism regulation is under the Union Nation Act, UN Act. Control planning development of land under Planning Act. Statutory use of land under master plan. Okay, guys, go read it yourself. I'm not going to do 3 this. Okay, for paper 2 part 1, I'm done. Paper 2 part 2, I'll go through this very fast to take note of that. So paper 2 part 2, this note is done at the end of 2011. To take note that the sales of HDB flat, how is it done? Okay, give me a minute, I'll restart the video.